All right, so we're in the StreamYard studio right now, and I felt bored, so I just wanted to go over a short Rich Cooper video that I think has 1 million views. It's really popular, so I just want to see what all the hype is about. Let me just pull it up here. It's called How to Test for High Quality Women. Let's get into this. See if it's garbage or not.
Another mother.
Start at the beginning.
All right, what is up, my brothers from another mother? I've had quite a few of these messages come to me about making really bad choices with women and dating. It's all in, how do you test for that? And I'll give you you can use.
It's actually put it on 125.
Day, got the beard all oiled up. By the way, if you guys have asked me, what do you put in the beard? It's just coconut oil.
Rich, nobody gives a fuck about your pubes protrusion beard.
There's a coconut oil right behind. You're done.
Get to the point.
Back in the day when I was a kid, there was a really good movie called, I think it was called Bronx Tale. And there was a scene in it where
it's a mafioso movie, I think.
Talked about the door lock test. And the door lock test was simply, back in the day, we didn't have the key fobs. I don't even know where it is. I think it's in my gym bag. You'd have a key and you put it in the door, you unlock it, and, your girlfriend would get in or your date would get in. Well, we don't have that anymore. So
yeah, because physically, manually unlocking it is inconvenient as
can't use that test, but basically, you walk up the door, unlock the door, let her in, you walk around the back, and you just kind of look in and see if she would reach over and unlock your door. And the concept or the scene in that movie, it's kind of like an Italian gangster movie, was if she doesn't reach over and open the door, he goes, she's a selfish broad, you got to dump her.
Yeah, that's right. Learn your morality from Cosa Nostras, from Italian Sicilian mafiosos. Yeah, great morality lesson, Rich. So I have no idea why these red pill types are so so fascinated by learning their masculinity and their machismo from these villain characters, from these faux tough guy, wannabe Billy Badass style alpha males. It's sick, because if anything, these Cosa Nostra movies, or shows, I forget which one it was, like The Bronx Tales, Goodfellas, what was the other one? The Sopranos. That's another mafioso show. This is a critique of masculinity, particularly Italian machismo, because that's, one of the facets of their culture. They're traditionally Catholic. So why would Rich Cooper want people to learn, specifically young men, because this is his audience, want young men to learn that type of masculinity? I mean, guys in the Cosa Nostra, or the Cosa Nostra, I should say, if I want to, pronounce it absolutely correctly, typically end up getting shot. And that's where that kind of masculinity and that moral conviction gets them, quote-unquote moral, I should say. So, the fact that he's already suggesting that men should learn their masculine virtues from the Cosa Nostra is absolutely absurd. Let's continue.
Right. So that doesn't exist anymore. I did use that in my younger days when I did have to unlock the door, and it actually worked. It was fairly. So there's a few things that you can do now to kind of test chicks.
Right. Yeah. Definitely a really good test to see if a relationship is viable. See if she reaches over to unlock your door if you have a key fob. How absolutely delusional and destructive is this advice? With that,
test women, to help you guys identify the good ones from the bad ones, because guys are still making really bad choices, and I make bad.
Yeah, like watching Rich Cooper content.
So you don't have to. So let me show you these 3 tips.
Yeah, and you continue to make bad choices by posting like this on the internet.
First one. This is the coffee test, I guess we'll call it.
No, I like coffee.
You're out with your date and you're going back to wherever you're going. Just pause for a moment and go, you know what? I'd love to grab a coffee from Timmy's or Starbucks.
Also, no matter how many steps he lists, and no matter the quality of them, like if we agree on them or not, I'd like to hear how they can be gendered. Like how these steps can be, gendered specifically to test women and not, pretty much all genders.
Or wherever you live in the world, here in Canada, Tim Hortons is probably the more popular one. Forgot my wallet at home. Can you spot me on this one? And see what she does. A good woman would be happy to do that. I mean, obviously, if you've been dating, you're probably throwing some bucks at her here and there, going out for a movie or a dinner, something like that.
Why would you end the relationship with her if she, you know, just refused to spot you?
So for her to, brush off the dust on her purse and open it up and crack open a $1.50 shouldn't be that big of a deal. If she fails that test, you want to deep six her, just get rid of her. She's really just in it for herself. I have a really good friend that actually tested his ex-wife with that. She failed miserably. He still married her, and he still swears to the day if he would have, ditched her at that time.
No, yeah, the only reason he ever could have divorced her, or she could have ever divorced him, or whatever, was because she refused to pay him for coffee he got for himself. What the f? One, again, how is this gendered? And two, why the hell would you end what could otherwise be a fruitful relationship with someone over if they spotted you for coffee or not? This advice is completely delusional.
It would have been a lot easier for him. The second test.
This is horrible for men.
Simply the no.
You're testing me.
Dumb. Like, we just try to please or say yes all the time. We'll go watch the dumb romantic comedy or go to the art gallery if we're not interested in art.
Or, abide by their bros' wishes and watch Rich Cooper content.
I'm a car guy. You guys know that's, those of you that have watched my channel for a while, that I started up Entrepreneurs in Cars because I like hanging out with entrepreneurs in cars. And, those are the sorts of events and things that I like to, place myself in. I like to be in that room, to go to the Cars and Coffees in the summertime.
Macho. Businessman.
Events and things like that. So if a woman were to say to me, I would like to go to this art gallery, I'd just be like, no, I'm just not interested. I have no interest in art or whatever. And if she responds angrily or tries to shame you, tries to use shaming tactics, you can take a look at the Triggered video that I did a couple weeks ago so you can get a better idea of the shaming tactics. If you're a real man, you would go with me or something like that. You want a deep six. You just want to get rid of her. She's going to be a real...
Okay, then that relationship is probably not reconcilable, for one. And two, again, how does this have to be gendered, man? This can't, be used to specifically shit test a woman. All of these could be applied to literally any and all genders, man. Let's get some music going.
Or
try to dumb the boring.
And to be honest with you guys, we live in a world of, balance. And,
God, this is dumb, yeah.
They want equality. Well,
Fancy that comes up.
Watch some, romantic comedy or go to an art gallery. Let her do it by herself or with her girlfriends or with her mom or something like that. If it's not something of interest to you, just say no. And don't be a dick about it. Just let them know it's just not something that's of interest.
Okay, yeah. I think this advice specifically is actually pretty sound because, if she doesn't share most of your interests or he doesn't share most of your interests, then is that going to be exactly reconcilable? Yeah, I think it's pretty sound.
Those are the things I could be doing with my time. Another really good example that I could use from my own experience.
Like, being able to say no is a good facet of a relationship, but again, how does this have to be gendered?
I was asked to attend a dinner party.
Like, these aren't specifically shit tests for women.
Before that I knew that were just, how can I put it? You're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So if you spend time in rooms with people that are and are going to lower your average and negative,
like Rich Cooper,
and really drain you,
and literally any other manosphere type,
energy vampires, it's just a bad choice. It's a bad decision. And I said no to it, and she freaked out. She lost her mind. You shouldn't judge people and all this sort of stuff. And she started using shaming tactics. Well, I should have known at that point because there's a lot of red flags with that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like your personalities are going to mesh at all.
Woman that I was dating, but things like that you can use to test them. So it's basically the no test. And the third and last test that you can use is basically the prenup test.
Again, a non-gendered test.
And this will basically demonstrate to you in a very clear and concise fashion if this woman is into you for you or if she's into you because of hypergamy. Now, all women are hypergamous.
Whoa. If all women are hypergamous, then what was the point of the first... I think actually the second spot me test. Because if you're saying all women are hypergamous, then literally, why would any woman in the 21st century even spot you for a coffee? Like, what's the point of that test? Because if they're all hypergamous, then they are necessarily not going to give you $1.50 or something for a coffee. So your own red pill logic invalidates one of your tests, and specifically for women, even though they, really can't be gendered pragmatically at all. Your own red pill calculus contradicts your own advice, man. Get your narrative straight. Okay, guys, these people do not have coherent philosophies whatsoever, since you can really tell they have not thoroughly elucidated the worldviews. Because one really strong signifier of somebody who's blatantly grifting is the fact that their ideology is very contradictory, and the fact that it doesn't take a layman to see where their ideology contradicts itself. You don't really have to dig, for the self or the internal inconsistencies. So another really big test for, who's grifting. These people have not elucidated the worldviews much at all.
Going, I hope you guys can still hear me.
I wish I wasn't able to.
Women are reasonably hypergamous, and they're going to look to benefit their scenario or to spend time with somebody that's going to up.
I'll reiterate, why is the spot me for coffee test even relevant then, if all of them are hypergamous?
Their average, It's funny because they don't want us to say no to dinner events, spending time with people that are going to lower your average or drain you. But, they're always looking to marry up economically and make sure they find somebody that's...
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I should say, hypergamy, this whole idea that women marry up and men just marry attractive women no matter what their socioeconomic class is, this is blatantly contradicted by empirical data. Empirical sociological data, especially on the subject of dating, demonstrates that most people date within their own league, within their own locations, among their own races, within their own socioeconomic circles and classes and locations. They're going to the same schools. They're going to the same, social outings or social settings. People just tend to date within their own league.
In a better boat than they are. So the way that you bring this one up, you're not going to say, hey, I need you to sign a prenup if we're ever going to settle down, or a cohabitation agreement if we're ever going to live together. Just bring it up in casual conversation. A friend of mine was having a conversation, with their partner, and they brought up the idea of a prenup. You can mention it was a guy or a girl, whatever that one is. They brought the idea of a prenup, and they had that conversation, and just kind of like throw it off to her. What are your thoughts on that? And again, I actually had this conversation with a woman
that could signal distrust, but again, one, not gendered, and two, I guess it's just going to be at one. This could also apply to a man as well. So
that I was dating for about 6 or 7 months, and when I actually, I didn't mention it. She brought it up. She said that one of her friends,
a single mom you were dating, or I must have missed something back there.
With the idea of a cohabitation agreement because she was pushing to live in. She was down here, he was up here. He was fairly well off, and she wanted to move into his life. And I said, well, that's pretty much par for the course at this stage. If you're divorced, because I was divorced at the time, and you've got a child, you want to make sure that your wealth transfers to your child. And
we could tell you've been divorced for a long time.
Isn't distributed places like other people's children that aren't yours if things don't work out.
Yeah.
And she got very upset, exceptionally upset. So that was a bad sign. Dumb me. I was thinking with the wrong head. I kept dating, but I could have probably saved myself a lot of time. So there's a few good examples of, I guess, how you can shit test.
The odd thing is that these manosphere types say, prenups get invalidated in court a lot. As a matter of fact, actually, half of all prenups that actually are looked over in divorce court get invalidated. Okay, yeah, that's because the vast majority of that half of all prenups, the vast majority of that 50%, are either A, very, very unfair, and or B, people have been coerced into signing very one-sided agreements. So you can look it up. Look up, okay, why so many prenups are declared null and void. Then that's a common red pill talking point. But why would he even invoke that? Or even more generally, a common manosphere talking point. But why the even invoke that if they don't think prenups are useful in the 21st century?
Shit testing, man. It'll help you filter out the crap ones.
Contradictions.
Ones that are just there for your money or for your resources and aren't particularly interested in you, or they want to make you do dumb shit, try to shame you. So I hope that helps.
All red pill men and these manosphere men are going to end up with women who want them to do dumb.
Leave a comment below. Let me know if you have any suggestions for the audience.
Absolutely not. That's why I download these videos.
Read the comments and participate in them. Smash the like button, subscribe, browse the rest of the videos in this playlist, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Talk to you guys later.
I don't want to see you later. So, that's that. Yeah, really self-contradictory, really incoherent, and specifically has a really set standard for women, but not for men. Like, this advice could not be gendered, because you could use these shit tests on people of pretty much any gender. It doesn't matter. So I don't know what his double standard is. I'm just assuming he's sexist and leaving it at that. So yeah, see y'all later.